I'm here.
Opening this work session of the Plain Township Board of Trustees. It's 5:20 p.m. Tuesday, June 13th. The topic for the work session is demolish the training building. This topic will be presented by Fire Chief Chuck Schallenberger.
I think I picked the wrong seat. Is he gonna stand here?
No, I'll stand here.
You better walk around and make it interesting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Alright, I put together just a little PowerPoint stuff on this, and then when we get to some of those proposals, just some ideas of different buildings we looked at. I can go through the quick ones first. We know what the old building looks like, so just I wanted to put those in there so that if we were doing this presentation to someone else, so we can skip through the. I took it in the snow to make it more dramatic for you.
Boy, that looks like.
Hell, it looks like.
So basically with the training structures, there's three different kinds we could put up. A brick and masonry building, steel with aluminum wrap, and then a storage container system. If you go around the state, there's all different kinds. Wayne College has a combination of, brick and mason. Steel is like red iron with a skirt around it.
Steve, which one did we see?
At Portage Lakes, that is a container system.
That's a storage container?
Yeah, storage container.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then, where like Stark State's tower is all red iron with brick on it, and they actually have a propane building there too, which is pretty costly. We're trying to put up a Class A building which we can burn straw and pallets and wood, so that way we won't have any feeds like the natural gas or anything like that. Vendors out there, construction. Some companies can put these up. There's a company called Draeger who is like I guess you say a consortium company. They do air packs, they do all kinds of different brands of equipment, and then also they do these storage container systems. American Fire Training Systems is one of the ones that we looked at kind of extensively. And then there's Fire Facilities, which is a steel building, so it's iron with steel around it. So different types. This is the one we looked at Portage Lakes. So it's smaller in square footage than the one we were looking at. Kind of disadvantage of this particular building is there's no interior stairwell for some of the evolutions that we might want to do. When we toured this, it was kind of a wet day, and Trustee Haas and Lena were there. They're real wet inside, and they don't do anything with the floors. It's all steel floor. So I guess you'd say for long term, when I have guys crawling in gear and everything else, anytime it's wet, they're going to have rust on their pants and all that, if that makes sense. I mean, it's going to be not necessarily a real clean environment inside.
You don't mind us interrupting you?
No, that's why we're
And
here.
again, I'm speaking as one trustee, but my concern was we did go on a wet day, and it was damp in there and wet in there, and so I worried about rust, number one. Number two, where they burned a lot of those hot fires, and we noticed that the back of those, where the paint was completely gone.
That is true.
It melted all the paint off. So now you've got this building that doesn't look that pretty anymore. You've got spots that were already burnt because the paint melted. So my concern with that was the rust. Will those rust? In other words, 30 years from now, which we still like to have, will it be a bucket of rust? That would be one of my concerns. And then that paint. So that was just my observe. I thought it was very damp in there.
Yeah, and I agree with you. This particular company doesn't line their floors or anything. And then the other one is a container system. They do put a floor system in, so you're not actually on steel. So, and they seal the top of the building a little bit different than this one. So, but surprisingly, cost-wise, that particular building is more than the other storage system that we looked at. So
That's beautiful.
different, and no drain system with this and the price they gave me, so you have to add that, no electrical, so there's some ups to this to make it what we want. So, because we do need electric, because obviously we power the security cameras down there and we're lighting for the refuge or the leaf drop-offs, So, and then This particular company is called All American, or American Fire Training Systems. And when we, and it's hard to tell in the pictures, we got a little video at the end to get a little better perspective of it. We wanted to get something with some height, obviously for some of our hotel evolutions, and then obviously we can repel, and then we can do below grade fires from this, and then we can do confined space evolutions, you know, from tower down, so we can put a tripod on top. So this one gets us some height, and more so than 4-inch lakes, because that's only about 30 feet at a 4-inch lake.
What's that made out of?
These are made out of containers too.
Oh, the same
So,
container
yeah.
stuff.
But they, little different process, so, but they are container-based systems.
Didn't you think that ones were damper than the
We had a guy come in from fire facilities. This type of building is red iron with basically wrapped sides to it. So they take aluminum, once they put up the red iron, they put big kind of 8x4 sheets of aluminum, screw it on there, so you're making like a, like it's kind of like a garage, but it's up in the air.
Like
That
a
makes
machine,
sense?
like a machine shed. almost.
Yeah, like a machine shed. The floors, you can get them all aluminum, or they pour concrete floors in. But the price tag goes up quite a bit. When you get in this, I mean, this building,
That looks like money.
the one that probably would suit our needs is probably about $425,000 just for the building. I mean,
And that's how much more than the ones we might be looking at.
about over 100,000 more. So the price tag goes up quick, you know. Now, there is some options with this style. We could put up a house part, add a tower later, because you're able to expand it. That's an option.
But where would you do any type of tower training in?
Well, we
in the area?
would have to go to Stark State or somewhere else.
And what type of costs are associated with that, you know?
It's
how-
mostly-
Availability,
Mostly labor costs, you know, because obviously I got fuel, manpower to get there. The building won't cost us anything to rent or use, but, you know, I have to have an instructor there, you know, myself or somebody else that works at Stark State while you're having the
Do they have good quality instructors over there?
Yeah.
a couple.
If you can keep them awake.
And it's not so much they're there to instruct, you just, so you don't do silly things like
What's
break
that made
things.
out of? That's cement.
No, this is red iron, so steel structure, and then basically it's wrapped.
That's the one that's wrapped.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
what it's
a
wrapped.
little different design, and so nice buildings. You know, the guy, you know, came all the way from New Jersey to, you know, to show us this stuff. He was in Ohio. Just the cost goes up quick. I mean, real fast. You know, maybe a little bit, but you're still going to have, you know, staining. Your paint might not come up, but you're going to see that stain all the time.
Character.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about that is you could replace a panel. If something goes wrong 10 years from now, you can take a panel off, put another panel on. Bad thing is the company going to be there in 10 years to buy it from them? Hopefully they are. And then obviously labor to fix it and whatnot, you know. The container systems work the same way. If something goes wrong, they can physically take one out, they can put another one in, you know. So different thought process, you know, they're just replacing the whole thing. So costs, for Linda who didn't get that on there for tonight for the agenda, I had a tear down cost of about $6,500 for the building. And it was $100 for the asbestos report, so it's actually a little less than $7,000.
Is that on the agenda tonight, the tear down?
I sent it to Linda, but I didn't see it on the, I gotta double check that.
Do you have a hard copy to add it on?
Yes, I do.
Because irregardless, the building's got to be torn down.
Right.
Why do you need asbestos before? There wasn't no asbestos?
Well,
in
you
the
have
building?
to, for demolition, they make you do
They
it.
have
And
to make
actually,
you do it.
I got a deal, the guy did it for $55.
Oh,
So, I think he did me a little favor there, so, he said, this is for the fire department, he's up at Akron, you know, and he said, I'll just, $55, he's got to sign some papers, so that was probably the cheapest thing in the whole project, was the report. But, so $7,000 to tear it down, and obviously the report. Architectural fees, which is like a civil engineer, and, because you have to be able to design the footers and all that, site plans,
that's on the new one?
yeah.
Yeah,
Because you have to
because of
design all
weight.
the footers, and
Oh,
lay that out.
all those pieces have to be actually on those footers, that's right.
Right,
Yeah.
so,
It costs that much for an
well,
architect to put
Clement
those
Smith gave me a
footers?
price about $6,300 was his estimate. So, not saying we couldn't do it less than that, but I made it 10 just to, I figured I'd give you the worst case scenario. But he gave me a price of 62 something for site plans, all the, footer drawings and everything they need.
Look how much that concrete
You know.
is, 20,000 for that?
Each
Pretty much as heavy
pad,
and reinforced as it's gotta be.
Nice, yeah.
it's 4 foot deep, because they have to go below frost. And they have to be able to carry, whether it's red iron or the containers, it's the same depth. So it's just the PSI level of the concrete. So, Mr. Dickerson, who did some concrete work and has done concrete, he bid on the Portage Lake project up there, and his estimate is about 2,000 per footer, depending on our soil conditions down there. So,
That's better than what we initially thought.
yeah, I mean, they could be 1,800, they may be 21, but, so depending on how many pads I need,
30,000.
then obviously that changes that 20,000. The concrete beneath the building and around. I kind of went by the square footage of like the project we're doing at Station 4 for the front pad. We could do that a couple different ways. We could just, and you'll see in the video here, they actually just wrap the building with concrete and put all the pads in, and they put gravel underneath it.
For the water.
Or you
water
could
runoff.
pour an entire pad and
For the,
then,
for the container style. 'cause you
yeah,
got
for,
floors in.
or either, actually either one, because, well, yeah, because
Gravel
there's a
would be
floor.
better for drainage.
None of the decisions were based off of like water runoff or,
No, because you're pretty much, we have that one catch basin there, so we would just slope any water to run to
okay.
that.
Isn't that what they did there? They had that all sloped.
Yeah, so we're not gonna
Smart.
create that much water, any more than we're doing right now.
And then you could put those little drains in there too.
Yeah,
They
and-
they didn't have any drains in some of those, but we.
That is
I think
correct.
Scott said, some of those should have some drains in it.
Yeah, and this American Fire facilities, they actually put drains in those containers,
Yeah.
in the burn rooms.
That
So
would make a
it
big
funnels, channels it away from land, because that was the problem up there. You literally were crawling
Walking
in water,
Yeah, and I think that was
Uh,
Scott's idea. He said, hey, we could put drains in those.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a harder sheeting on the floor that you could have bought a little extra. Wasn't there something on the floor that they bought
Well, that was only in the burn rooms.
in the
though.
burner room?
Yeah.
But then that would be a good touch too, though.
Yeah, and then, so, container systems, the ones we looked at was about 275 to 315. The steel over, red iron with sheeting, I'm gonna say 400,000 is probably the cheapest we could put a building up, just a house with no training side. When you add that, it's about 450.
That's what it's wrapped, right?
Because when you do that, there's a lot more, that company like sends you a kit, basically. And then you have to hire a general contractor, and then obviously all the other stuff before, this concrete and all. So you have to hire somebody, iron workers 880 to put the steel up, whoever it is. So there's a lot more labor intense in that process.
But they pretty much ship us like a kit.
Yeah. They
They
show
got it
up,
all ready to
here's
go.
all the Lincoln logs, you
That's
find
right.
somebody to put it together, and then they come in, they put in the fire rooms, the one that's made out of, with the sheeting on it. So, I think that's why
Is
your
that
cost.
paginite?
What's that?
Do they use paginite?
Scott, what was?
For the
you also
fire room?
said
Yeah.
about-
Yes,
Right.
and it's a
They worried
West
about-
type
they
system
worried
or
about them
something.
ripping their uniforms, ripping their, so he said there was another floor we could put on. Remember we thought those
I
guys would
remember
rip
there was,
their,
I thought,
they were
was it
sharp.
upstairs or something?
Remember there was another, wasn't there another
Yeah,
sheeting? That we
yeah,
were worried about
and
those
this-
guys ripping their uniform because some of that stuff was sharp.
This particular company, they line all their floors, unlike the one at Portage Lakes. They actually put a floor kit in, they call it.
That's what it was, Scott.
And so it's like a 1/2 inch, I don't want to say, for lack of better words, like a plastic board, so you're, and the container we have down here has the wood in it, so they actually kind of line that. And then their fire room's the same thing, they put the drain in. And so it's I don't want to call it rhino coating, but, something along that line to make the integrity of the floor better.
Let's just say that, because I don't know what one you're leaning on, but let me ask you, let's say that we go with the one with the lining floor, the extra steel, versus the one that's wrapped's $400,000, $100,000 more. So would we still be less money if we put the expensive flooring in and the heavier steel
Oh,
in?
yeah, 'cause that's standard with,
Well, then-
you know.
That's almost,
And it really comes down to money. I mean, obviously, in the perfect world, the red iron one wrapped, it'll probably last 30 years. This one might last 25. you
I
know.
think
You know.
the containers will outlast everyone in this room as far as being
Yeah.
involved with it. The red iron would definitely go two more of us, generation wise, you know.
But your price tag really increases fast, you know.
but look at this thing, I remember when we put this one up, chief, remember that? It feels like yesterday we built that building and now it's ready to
Long
be,
time
now it's
ago.
ready to be torn down.
20,
You guys started
Yeah.
out when you were in middle
22
school.
years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
So
that
now
was,
it's
no,
coming
more
down.
it was
So now-
90, what was it, 90,
93.
93?
So is it worth the $100,000 more to last double versus,
Well, it's not that that building's gonna last double the steel structure. You were saying essentially about maybe 5 more years?
Yeah, because
So-
I think you're eventually always got to replace the burn section of it, like, you know, where the,
Major
I
source
like
of
the,
heat.
the outer shell, I think, will be there
I like
long
burn, too.
forever. You know, as long as you keep them sealed and,
with the stairway?
you know,
Yeah, that one. The stairs.
so that's the tough part. But, and I gave you some drawings, but this is kind of, this would be like the rear of the
Yeah.
structure. And the
Is that the
nice thing about this, I can get a little higher T-bar for repelling.
That's
They'll put in a standpipe.
the second one he showed us.
This is the one that says
We got a video
proposal
on this
Canton Plain Township.
Yeah, right now.
Gotta find my little
Put
Eric
the,
mark
go ahead,
there.
put
So
the more expensive floorings, the heavier.
it has a,
It comes
you know,
with it.
standpipe, confined space, and then it has landings in here. So we can actually use it more like a hotel. You know, it has that true landing.
So you put the drains in, you put the heavier floor, and expensive floors, it might be worth it.
Then is there a staging area that would simulate basement below ground fires?
Yeah, so this one has a burn room on both floors,
Okay,
first and second floor.
Yep, yep.
So I can bring them in on the third floor,
staging area,
and then I can take them down.
simulated basement fire.
Yeah, and then
It does.
first floor fires.
Yep,
And they have
I'm
this-
able to do some transitional attacks, you know,
Sure.
with windows and stuff. And it gives me a true outside stairwell and a true inside stairwell,
Nice.
all the way up.
So you repel on that, you got the
Yeah.
height, you got the stairwell.
And you can get the other video. This will kind of help tie it together a little bit.
It comes with the expensive floor.
This fire department is it's down by where Lisa's daughter is going to school. It's about an hour out of Columbus, like kind of, so between
Check it
like
out.
Cambridge, down
She's
that way.
testing her door.
And they just put this up last year by one of the companies,
Ha,
and it's Wellston, Ohio. So, and I forget the county it's in off the top of my head.
I'll check it out.
We're holding the audio.
So, this kind of gives you an idea how they build those container systems.
Oh, that looks sharp.
And this building is the other one on your diagram. So, this thing's built out in the middle of nowhere, really. I mean, there's some driving range and that's about it.
Looks like a
but-
fracking pad.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, at
So,
first.
pause it there for a second, Eric. So, when they go to build that,
I'm gonna back it up just a little bit so you can see that.
and we would have to do the same system no matter red iron or container. Alright. So, these are all the pads we're talking about. And then, this is all kind of, they chose to put gravel underneath it. But we could, and the way we have our current, facility down there, it's kind of the same effect. We have the wrap around it, and then we have asphalt farther away. But, so they have to build
why do you
these
suppose
pods,
they decided to grab
and
it?
then once the building goes on, obviously you just have the concrete left. In a perfect world, I guess concrete would be nice underneath the whole thing. If we had, lessen the cost, we could put gravel, limestone, something underneath it. Actually, you probably want gravel versus limestone, so it wouldn't rust, so, it'll draw from the limestone. But that would give you a little cheaper underneath. But if we could afford it, obviously the concrete's there, if you did any drainage, you get water
So, I mean,
running.
how many thousands of dollars really are we talking about?
Saving,
Because underneath there, if it's not the weight points, whether you're,
Yeah.
say 4 or 6 inches,
Yeah, I mean, this wouldn't have to be drivable concrete or anything like that, I mean, a 4-inch, base, because
It's not that
it's
much
not holding
horsepower
your
with
weight.
concrete, but
So, all right, go ahead, Eric, sorry. And, so, our drone pictures will be better when doing.
Yes, they will be.
You know, like Eric told me.
There's no doubt in my mind.
So basically, they bring these things in on semis,
Not anything.
and this company provides all these workers to do this. Not the drone, but just the
Yeah.
You
assembly.
just put it piece by piece together.
Yeah, so it's like a Lincoln log set, basically. They keep setting these up.
So if one of those started to get really, really rusty, you can replace one.
Correct.
Very modular.
So
Yeah.
they can be, each piece can be taken out and put back in.
Yeah, I mean, it would take some effort, obviously, if it's the bottom one,
Yeah, I
but
see
you
it at the
know,
bottom.
they can. They're technically a movable building, in theory.
I just hate to see them rust.
You know, so you can, and then it's a little better video at the end, but you can see there, you know, the stairwells come already in
That's
them,
so cool.
and Lisa wants me to make a swimming pool out of one.
Yeah, because
so,
people make swimming pools out of the storage buildings.
It's not a real long video, it's like 4
I think
minutes.
I've
They
got
do.
the, I think I've got the fix now to my wife's craving for a pool.
Well, yeah,
I'm
we
home
should
just
just,
shipping a trailer, be like,
well,
So
yeah, 'cause
this-
when they
or
get hot, they can
Just
just
a dump
jump
truck
in.
and line it with some visqueen and fill it up.
So like at the Portage Lake, they didn't have
Yeah, you
anything
take
on
it
the top
wherever
of
you
their thing. This company puts this, and I believe it's like a sheet aluminum on top of here to help with
the
water to
Yeah.
get into the
Yep.
building. So when it gets all done in this video, you'll see those different layers of that.
Whoops.
Oh, sorry.
Now that's gonna take me to the beginning of the video.
Yeah,
Hold
right.
on, I get you, hold on.
That's why he's on
I thought
probation.
you were an expert at this.
It's
Some
a,
Isn't this your expertise?
No.
I'll just count out the IT guy. It's gonna be a long night,
He's on
Eric.
probation.
Yeah, wait till you
For the
need
record,
something
Eric,
out.
I said not a word.
thank you, Ralph.
Wait till you need something
I
out.
told him when I was
Oh, that's right.
setting up, I
I'm
said, I know
sorry.
it's gonna happen.
This guy needs rescued
I
already.
do need something too.
Now, that's a good
That's a
good
beautiful
shot.
looking.
Check out this drone footage here, lift up right over top of the building.
So they have a few more features than the one we proposed, but I gave you both drawings just to kind of, so they do a little interior shot here. And I thought this would help explain the floors and some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
So you can tell
That's
there's
So you
where
can see the
material
seams,
on
you
here.
can see the seams of the,
That floor is different than what
Surface.
we saw.
Yeah,
No getting any snags on the uniform there.
and then they actually paint the inside of the walls with a special, you know, like epoxy,
Yeah.
I don't say epoxy, but it looks like
Some better
a
already, just
gunmetal color inside, and that brightens it up a little bit, because up there, everything was that
Very
brown.
Yeah.
So it was really dark.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
They bought a lot of props, you know, like stoves and all that stuff
Yeah.
that they have in here.
I like
Gosh,
it.
couldn't you get people to donate?
I just gave a stove to the north of the.
Well, they have like a stove that
Lovely
can burn.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
big- I could probably have Don make them at the garage, because it's just a
Yeah.
big hunk of steel
That would be
that
cool.
you throw wood in, so they're just going up inside, you know, just showing some different layers here of the building.
That's nice.
See, that's all aluminum welding. That's
Yeah.
all
That's,
aluminum
yeah, it looks
material.
all aluminum there, yeah.
Thanks, Eric.
And then that's a pretty good shot of that flooring there. See, it's a little
A
different.
lot better,
There's your drain system.
yeah.
They have, that's a burnout, clean out there.
The other one didn't have that big drain system, did it?
No,
No.
no. This is actually burn rooms. That's what you put the pallets in.
I like that better than what they had. They had that stuff hanging on
Yeah, change.
chains.
And then paginites walls and ceiling.
Yeah, in the burn ones, then it's that special layer with, it has the probes in it.
That's similar to panels that are actually on the space shuttle. So that it protects, yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty cool stuff that can withstand.
And then so they put in the sensors in there for temperature, you know, because you're only supposed to burn at 1200 degrees, so it gives you a way to try to monitor that. So just a little different type of process, still using the containers as the base, but, you know.
Lisa just came up with an idea.
And then on the tops there, like I said, different, they line the tops of those. So, I think it's a little better process, this one.
Chuck, this is a really nice
Honestly, I like the
presentation.
I was gonna say, I like the presentation.
I like it. This
Coming over.
this really, well, and it helped that we went to see that other one. That really
Yeah.
helps because it shows this one is so much more better.
Chief, what's your, I mean, ultimate timetable? We've got a resolution tonight to talk about demoing a building, knowing that could be, you know, say 4 to 6 weeks
Well,
out by the time
tonight's
they get
just
to it.
demo,
Yeah,
because irregardless, it needs demo.
Well,
And that-
yeah.
Grant money
That's
for this?
separate, that's
I
separate than any
tried to
bid.
get that
I
Trying to
know.
get
Yeah.
some grant money for
We
this.
chatted a
one.
little earlier.
But
Yeah,
We got kicked out of the one grant, and we were trying for 100,000 to go towards it.
Yeah.
So,
And the local
hoping I get a
government
radio
innovation
grant to
fund
balance it
statement.
out.
It's kaput,
Next
and we
budget.
wouldn't have gotten a grant for that because it's not with another entity. They want you to do it with another entity, and really, we want a training facility in Plain Township, so we're not traveling somewhere else to train.
Could you share it with NIM?
Yeah, we could let
Well, you
other.
can share it, the
Yeah, we can
idea is,
share it.
you-
The idea is-
you don't want to take it somewhere
No,
else.
we want it
Oh,
in Plain
okay, yeah,
Township.
That's been the advantage of
Gotcha.
the one that we have, is the
Yeah.
idea is that you don't have to travel far. You
Yeah.
can
And
keep
then
companies intact, you
They
can
also
respond
seam
from
the
there.
sides,
Yeah.
so you don't see that gap between the containers.
Gotcha. That makes
And
sense.
then.
Yeah, and
where
I've
you-
seen the
where you
guys
repel, they
respond
put
from
a-
our training facility,
Oh,
which is nice.
My personally,
uncommon.
I like this one better than the one that we looked at, and I like it because of the drainage, I like it because of the floor.
And
And then we could go to a visit if we wanted to,
yeah,
right,
we
to this
can go-
place?
I would
wouldn't
talk
mind
to the
visiting.
chief
You wouldn't
down
see it or
here
not?
in
Yeah.
I'd
Williston,
go.
and he said he'd be glad to.
You know, I'll go
went.
tomorrow. I'll take one for the team.
I wouldn't mind seeing it though either,
Um,
but that looked really good,
Yeah,
looked really good. And how much is this one, much more, how much more than the one from the Portage?
that exact building is 360,
And what was the container ones at Portage if we'd have done?
363.
Oh, my.
You gotta be kidding me.
Nice
Now,
job,
the
Sean.
one that, on the proposed one, is about 270, the one I designed originally. This is a little bit fancier building.
I like it. Well,
You know, as
you
far
need,
as,
you need the height.
it
because
has
of
more
the hotel
space in
room.
Yeah.
it. You know, it's about 500 square foot more than of the two drawings. And it comes with a light package in it. So all I'll have to do is take our existing electric, basically run a wire to the wires that are there. It's already, you know, kind of a plug and play kind of deal.
yeah.
And then with Eric's, with the cameras and all that, we'd add some outlets and stuff
Right.
for him, you know, for the security stuff.
I like it. Nice job,
Excellent
Sean.
presentation,
Nice
Sean.
shot, nice
Very
job.
nice.
So getting back to, I mean, ultimately, what would be the timetable? I mean, demo's one thing, but I mean, for the sake of training in the interim, do you have,
Yeah, we've got some
Balance
alternative plans
arrangements.
for the summer, I mean, but I would think I'd have to have concrete ready, I mean, no, poured by no later than Labor Day. I mean, that way it's cured, because it has to sit for a month
Yeah.
before they can put anything on it.
We've been saying that.
So that gets me October, you know, because to get it done by the end of the year.
Yeah, I think the step
that
is,
gives me what I'm,
yeah, Chuck and I talked, and the step is, you know, we're gonna get it knocked down regardless. And then he's already been in contact with the architect, and then we'll look at the contract, the concrete, which is, we're hoping, and we're talking with Eric, separate from the building that, and that we could get 3 quotes for the concrete, because it doesn't seem like it's gonna be above the bidding threshold. And then Chuck did a phenomenal job in finding, will you tell him about the company,
they're on government bid
yeah,
lists.
he,
Yeah, what?
I'm telling you what, he found a way to do it through a governmental agency that will bid to so many people that we will get a really good price, so.
So we'll get experienced people that this is what they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that company puts it up, so I, you know,
Yeah, see, that's a million times better than somebody just shipping you the parts
Yes.
and then hoping that there's somebody that could put it together
Yeah.
correctly.
I wouldn't
yeah,
mind
that's what
that.
scares me about that system.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll go with you.
they put it on the fire areas, because that's a
Sure.
specialty,
Yeah.
with the radar and everything else.
Yeah,
You know, I've been hiring whoever, you know, Jim's construction company to put those up. So if they're behind schedule and, you know,
Yep.
that goes, you know, they'll put this up in like 5 days.
I wouldn't have went in.
I mean, once they show up, they'll be here for a week, it'll be
Yeah.
done, so.
Yeah, and that's what would have happened if Chuck hadn't have found this company, this agency, government agency to bid through, we would have been putting it in the rep, and we would have gotten, you know, Joe Agency, Joe Construction Company bidding on it. It wouldn't have gone out the way that he's
yeah,
found it, which
that's a
is.
little bit the problem we had with our existing building.
Yeah.
That was, it was unique because they wanted to continue to build it to current building standards.
Mm-hmm.
So like some of the railing and stuff like that, it's there because it is a building code requirement.
Yeah.
We didn't want it,
Right, but some of that.
but they didn't have a choice, it had to go there.
Block
Yeah.
wasn't that good.
That's what's gonna be nice about this, is they're gonna incorporate pretty much the intent for what it's there for.
He's done a phenomenal job with all of this, the research, everything.
The site plan stuff is there from the old building.
Yeah.
So we should be able to hopefully do a conditional use because we already have that.
Okay, call to order this meeting of the Plain Township Board of Trustees. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before us, we have our agenda is presented. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections by fellow board members or department heads at this time?
Yes, sir, I got to add number 4 for fire.
Okay.
And then I also have a communications number 4 to add. It's a thank you for Captain Springer.
Any other? Yeah.
Is that what that environment?
Yeah, demolition.
Number 4 will be the demolition.
All right, the agenda will stand as amended. First item, Sheriff's Report. I'll turn it over to Captain Springer.
Captain Ron Springer, on behalf of Sheriff George Meyer, for pleased to support. In front of you, you should have the monthly report, I hope. We're up a little bit. We're not going to say that crime is up a lot, but I think it's due to the fact that we have more increased number of officers out on the street. So we're getting some good productivity out of them. Rest are well up. As far as trending, we don't have anything specifically trending, either geographically or nature of crimes. However, during this time of year, it is the time where people decide to break into cars. Kids are out of schools and they like to go shopping in their cars. So we want to encourage the residents to make sure they're locking their cars. We've had several break-ins in their cars. And I say break-ins it's because people have their cars unlocked. We're not smashing out windows or anything of that nature. With me tonight also is Detective Rocco Ross. He's been with us for over 2 weeks now, and I think the board's all met him or is familiar with him. Rocco, is there anything else that's really trending that you can think of right now?
Not right now, no, just getting the feet wet, getting all the cases in, little caseload going, but no real patterns or anything.
Glad to have you in the township.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks.
I want to kind of briefly just cover a couple other items here. We are currently just short 3 people, so the police levy, of course, passed in November. Funding did not fully start coming in until February, March, April-ish, so we don't have all of our funding in just yet. Starting January 1, we added 3 people immediately to the township, so the sheriff's office.
And that was before the levy funds even come in, so
With no
ahead of our commitment.
Absolutely, sure. So right out front, the sheriff was able to kind of shorten his staffing and put 3 people right in the township. Like you said, before the funding was actually present. We are up to 5 people now. We've actually gone above that, but because of some of the promotions and transitions, obviously we saw Sergeant Miscallick here. Yeah, he was transferred to another division. So former Detective Koenig got promoted to Sergeant Koenig, which then created some vacancies. So we've actually put 8 people into the township, but our net gain right now is only 5. So we've done fantastic, I think, as far as that goes. I think we are meeting or exceeding the expectations, I would hope, of any of the residents that voted for the levy.
Based on timing of revenue alone, you can't spend money you don't have, so.
Right. And those 3 will be eventually there.
Yes, sir. We have in excess of 23 background checks going on at the sheriff's office right now. So it's not as easy as applying at McDonald's or Walmart. It's a little more lengthy. And I can tell you since Sheriff Meyer came into office that he has streamlined the process. And when I say streamlined the process, it's not that he has removed steps or procedures, but has made it more effective. So if we look back to Lean, Ohio, or Boot Camp from Ohio, he's come in and basically done
Lean analysis.
lean analysis and look at create, thank you, Kaizen.
Process improvement.
So it's improvement without costing you more money. So we've streamlined that process. I can tell you that we currently have 4 background investigations being done by deputies that work in the township because we're using those to try and fill those vacancies inside the township as quickly as possible. The other thing we've had to look at is equipment. So we've had some purchases to upgrade, improve, or obtain more equipment. And we're working closely with the administrator as well as physical to try and to ensure that we have the funding available so that when we are fully staffed, that monies are available and to be as physically responsible with the taxpayers' money they've entrusted you guys with to be able to spend and make sure we can do this thing correctly. Does anyone have any questions for any of us present?
I don't.
And one last thing I'll put out very quickly is that this past week, we had kind of a capstone event, which was nice. In August of 2016, we held here at Plain Township a training session. And it was really dealing with threat assessment management inside the schools. So we invited, and we called it a DARE officer or an SRO summit. So we invited all the SROs from Stark County, all the way around. And the training was held here. Sandy Hook Promise came in and was able to offer some free training and introduce to them some of the program they had available. As a follow-up to that, Sandy Hook Promise was able to come in last week, and they had to go to a larger venue because we've had so much participation. So they went to RG Drag, and at that location they taught safety assessment and intervention. So we've had 6 or 7 different counties now attending, and I couldn't tell you off the top of my head the exact number of people. But it was very impressive to see all, not just the sheriff's office, school resource officers up here there, but 7 different counties up here. So it's good training for law enforcement and for the schools to try and keep our children, our residents safe inside the schools. Thanks.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you. And that'll conclude the sheriff's report. We have no unfinished business, no new business. It'll take us to the fiscal officer report. I'll turn that over to Mr. Wolf.
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a request for resolution to authorize the payment of pending warrants in the amount of $886,061.59.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion, just a point of clarification, this dollar amount's typically a little higher than usual, but predominantly most of this, just pointing out, is due to the medical insurance transfer. No further discussion, roll call please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a request for resolution to authorize payment of regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a request for resolution to authorize the payment for the following medical claims.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 4 is the financial report.
Anybody's got questions, feel free to see Tom afterwards.
Fiscal Officer number 5 is a request for resolution to authorize the following transfers.
I will move on fiscal officer number
I'll
5.
second it.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 6 is a request for resolution to authorize a refund as follows for overpayments for EMS as requested by Ohio Billing.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 7 is a request for resolution to authorize Plain Township Fiscal Officer to request an additional amended certificate of estimated resources from the Stark County Auditor for $848,531.52.
I would so move then for your pay.
Second, discussion. This is attributed to increased receipts that were higher than
Correct, yeah, and it's to
planned.
reallocate the appropriations so we have less transfers during the year.
No further discussion, roll call please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And that concludes the fiscal officer report.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. It's going to take us to our administrator. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. I have a resolution before the Board of Trustees to approve an authorized payment to Worchler Brothers Landscaping for the May 2017 composting in the amount of $2,625 from Fund 01A26L.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Item number 2, I wanted to put the pictures on and make the board aware that the storage tanks at the Starfire gas station on Market Avenue have been completely removed.
They've got to be transported off-site.
Yeah.
Just simply backfill, because I know they've transported out some of the
Soil.
soil
Soil.
from right around there.
And I can tell you there's some happy neighbors up around
Yes,
that
there
area
are.
already. The big question is what's gonna happen with the building, and I've already told them it's staying erect, but we've got inquiries
We have
for
a lot of
additional
inquiries,
business.
yes, so something's gonna go there, as you know.
Yeah, this laid the foundation, just getting
It
those
sure
tanks out of the
did.
ground and
And
getting
it's
the
been lots of
contaminated
years
soil.
of the work,
Yeah.
and just, you know, getting those pictures of the whole process was exciting, and, you know, our economic development has been booming as via the venue, drug mart going in, and now we know we've got multiple inquiries into this location right here, so it's exciting.
Well, none of these things are like short term. I mean, look how long we've been working on this project.
Correct.
Sometimes say we get rejected for the grant, the grants that we've applied for.
Yeah, and it was with,
Regional
due to
society.
the, you know, working with the owner, and finally, we got the owner to work with us on it, so,
I will say the neighbors up in there are hoping that it would stay business, because if it goes to the land bank, the silent parcel program, they don't want to see the
No.
neighbor on the end seeing that turn into an additional parking lot there,
yeah,
so.
now we've got businesses that are talking to Tom,
Yeah.
competing for that spot, so.
Good.
And then I have before the board for information a certificate from the BWC to Plain Township, one we haven't seen in some time, for our efforts in preventing accidents and injuries in the workplace, 100% achievement. So that was for the past year, and that also helps in the money we receive back from the BWC. So.
Which is it safe to say there's some parallels? It was about a year ago, where when we updated the handbook, there was
Yeah.
also, each of the department heads took ownership of
Yep,
some
we
of the
started
safety processes and so forth, and
Yep,
revised
and we
them.
started the training and started the management's ownership of the safety program. And the department heads go to safety training, employees go to safety training, we have safety classes. And once you have the buy-in from the top, which was the board, and then your department heads and get your employees involved, everybody's got a bigger stake in it, so,
Well, that's for sure it's another
100%.
year.
yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job. Nice work, guys.
And then item number 4 is a resolution to enter into the attached agreement between Plain Township and the Stark County Health Department to authorize payment of $5,137.60 for the 2017 mosquito control program to be paid from Fund 01A26E.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion, how does this rate compare to last year? It doesn't seem like it's that far off.
Yeah, I
It
don't
seems
think that
relatively
it has,
flat.
it is a flat rate.
And it covers 152 miles.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
And that's the end of the administrator report.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. We're going to turn it over to our Chief Schallenberger for the fire department report.
Yes, item number 1 is our monthly report. We have pictures on there from our 3rd grade program that went to all Plain local schools. So the trailer traveled around, so there's just some pictures that we have.
Response times are even down, it's about 15 to 20 seconds.
Yeah, sure are.
Any questions for Chief? Okay.
Thank you. Number 2 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to authorize purchase and payment of t-shirts, sweatshirts, and embroidery from Colors Inc. in an amount not to exceed $5,500 to be taken from Fund 10A09H.
I will so move.
Second?
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 3 is just a letter or an award from American Heart Association. We went from a silver to a gold in their recognition level. That's for like response times, transmission of 12 lead AKGs, DEMI times, that kind of stuff. So we were able to kind of go up one more level. So it's fire departments throughout the area try to get those. So it's kind of it's more credit to the guys and me. Obviously, I just give them the tools. They obviously have to get the 12 lead set. They got to get there on time. And,
Chief, how does that relate to being fully ramped up on our bodies on shifts? Since the November 2015 levy, I mean, is it safe to say being fully staffed, the additional bodies, does that help drive any of that?
Well, yeah, absolutely, because, that gives us more medic trucks available more often. So, we're not going as far as the distance to get there. So, because they count, the time from the station to the patient to the hospital, and all that kind of goes together. So.
You're so humble. It's a national level recognition from the American Heart Association, and you just present it so humbly. So isn't that a huge recognition? That's huge. You're very humble.
Make sure you share that out on our social media page. It's important to public sees that and knows that.
Chuck, can you get that to me and I'll put it on ours as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
John, do you want to say anything about that? You probably know more than any of us what it means.
Unfortunately, I could speak the same way he does. There's this humbleness that, this just goes back to you research equipment, you get the right equipment, you get the right people, you get the right training, you create the culture, you give them the tools, and you let them go. Mm-hmm. And these are the results of what happens when you do that.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations to all the guys on the department. It's definitely good team recognition.
I'll let them know that. Then item number 4 is one we added, and that is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to authorize payment to American Demolition Inc. to demolish the fire training building located at 2855 Easton per attached quote, not to exceed $7,000.
I will so move. Second discussion really is a follow-up from our work session, as we've historically said that building's in just an unsalvageable condition, and it's part of the resources we've been entrusted with. This is the first phase in getting that site prep for what the future training facility will be down there. So, I mean, $7,000 is pretty cheap, honestly. I can tell you from sitting on the land for the first couple of years, anywhere from $6 to $9 grand. I mean, we're on the low end there.
Yeah. Plus, we get pretty cheap asbestos inspection.
Really?
It should be. I don't have any in there.
No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes fire department.
Thank you, Chief. It's going to take us to the road department, which please allow the public record to reflect that Mr. Iacino is out on an approved vacation. I'm not sure how much of a vacation it sounded like with the to-do list at home, but he is approved to not be here this evening. So I can run through that. First thing,
I can do it.
or Lisa?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm prepared, so
Okay.
for the best ever road monthly report, you're gonna get. Before you have the road monthly report, and you'll see they've been doing an awful lot of patching. 297 work orders, that's a lot. So they've been very busy. And as you know, the paving program is in full swing. Item number 2 is a resolution to authorize the purchase of gas, oil, and diesel at a cost not to exceed $20,000 from Fund 03A05A.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
And item number 3 is a resolution to authorize the purchase of materials and labor to repair the tandem, which is Unit 20, from Superior Spring and alignment not to exceed $4,060.46 from Fund 04A05F, vehicle truck parts.
Second, Mr. Sabo.
Is that the big one?
Yeah. That's,
It is.
they don't use it a lot, but when they need it, they need it. And when you look at what this repair is compared to what a new one would cost.
Yeah, it's
And-
nominal.
And Joe says, they make this repair, he said,
It's like
they just
new.
bought another 15 years.
Yeah.
So, for that vehicle, so.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
And that ends the revenue.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, turn over to zoning planning development director, Mr. Farrar.
Thank you, sir. Item number 1 will be the monthly report, and you have those before you. I think copy.
Just as a clarification, I mean, outside of the new commercial construction additions and new business, again, we've got some nice work down here just on that car wash that sits next to Almost 7. That was sitting vacant for a while, and that's honestly been cleaned up real nice. The owner of it, it's a nice guy.
Yeah,
Who I stopped at, seen him, so
you've done a great job.
further reinforce the efforts. Any questions on Tom's monthly report? Nothing good. Thank you. Okay, next.
Item number 2 on the agenda is a resolution to declare items A through F as abatements.
I will so move on zoning 2A through F.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
And that will conclude zoning.
Thank you. Can take Parks Department, Mr. Steinberg.
Thank you. Item number 1 is our monthly report.
Any questions for Rob on the monthly report? Okay.
Item number 2 is a resolution to authorize payment to Summit Memorials for the 2 additional memorial benches that you see up at our Veterans Keystone Memorial Monument. If you recall, in consulting with Ken Noon, he had donated 4 of those benches as part of his bid, but he felt it was very strongly that we needed to have all 6 of the branches represented. So to make sure we did that, the board approved the construction of, now we're just authorizing payment for.
Also move.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call. Or
So
sorry.
those are phenomenal.
They are.
That was a good idea, and I'm glad we
Place
did
been
that.
worked out just right after.
Where they're at and where they're placed, it's just,
Trustee Sabo placed one.
Yeah, I did, actually. I had to lean back on it while they put the plenty of stuff in to level it, so.
They did a nice job with the quotes too that are on the they sent out.
But his design, I
Yeah.
can't believe you can do that and then granite.
it's
Unreal.
very, yeah. they're
He's an
very-
artist.
Yeah,
And we let him work his magic, so.
Yeah.
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 Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Thanks. Item number 3 is the authorization of payment to Playworld for the replacement swing set for the larger group that was deemed unsafe by Otarma. Playworld came through, got that in, and I was happy to report that all of the equipment was in prior to Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So luckily I'm already bald, so there wasn't any of this.
It was close, I didn't think it was us, yeah.
But we worked really well with him and he worked his tail off and we certainly appreciate.
I can tell you, the board last night was walking, it was probably the slowest I've ever seen it down there with just a half dozen people on. So, I mean, it's still cool that it's carrying that type of initial momentum down there. I'll move on Parks number 3.
Second?
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Thank you. And for item number 4, gentlemen, we have the letter of resignation for Jay Jordan. I just want to thank Jay for his efforts and let the board know that he indeed had been up front and above board the whole way through. He let me know he was interviewing because this position fits his degree, his experience, and his passion very well. It's an elevated position, an elevated pay to do what he loves to do. He gave us 2 years of good work, and certainly I appreciate the service he gave us. And he'll be seeing us around because as a part of his district position, he'll be visiting Plain Township, dealing with water mitigation and things of that nature. So
It's a good opportunity for him.
it's a great opportunity.
We'll still be seeing him
Yeah.
because he works with soil and water.
His dad had said he was definitely torn over having
Yeah.
to turn it in.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you
Glad
gotta
for
do-
his advancement, yeah.
Yeah. He earned it. Thank you, that's all.
Okay, it's gonna take us to Law Director, Mr. Williams. Haven't had you up in a while.
It's been a while, hasn't it? Thank you. It's just for information purposes. It is the follow-up to the Hall of Fame Village Annexation number 3. What you have before you is just a copy of the ordinance passed by the city of Canton accepting that annexation into the city and setting what zoning, which they're calling Hall of Fame Village District zoning. So that's what you have in front of you. They've accepted that in 30 days. That'll be effective.
We don't need to take any action on that.
No action today.
Okay. It's gonna take us to communications. Ms. Campbell?
Thank you. The first item under communications is for the Parks Department from Kathy Euros, who's the Marketing and Communications Director of the North Canton Y, which reads, Dear Rob, we are so grateful that Plain Township Parks Department was able to participate in the North Canton Y MCA Community at Play event. With your help, we were able again to offer a fun family event serving over 300 people from the North Canton area. The feedback from the families who came was very positive. I appreciate all the hard work that goes into preparing such an event such as this. Please extend my sincere appreciation to all those who helped out in your area or helped you prepare for the day. Thank you again for supporting your community YMCA and our focus on social responsibility, empowering youth and healthy living. I look forward to working with you again in the future. And then number 2 is specifically, it's for fire, and it's on shift for Howard Hirschberger, Scott Bauer, Ron DeFrancisco, and Dan Ventura. It says, to the paramedics who tried to revive my dad at 1298 Mount Pleasant on May 15, thank you from the bottom of my heart for trying to save him. I cannot imagine doing your job and want you to know how much your first responders are appreciated. Or they're appreciated more than you know. God bless. Which is amazing testament, given what that family went through. So,
I see each of them individually. And it just speaks again to the caretaking qualities of the guy.
and then I have a thank you that I added on this evening for our Sheriff's Department. This one is to Captain Springer. And it reads, Ron, I just want to take a moment to personally reach out to you and say thank you for all your help and support in making yesterday's safety assessment and intervention a reality. Finally, I so appreciate your advocacy for our programs and your willingness to work with me through a few obstacles to get this done. Your SROs were so supportive, and that is a complete reflection on your leadership and example. After you recover from your Sandy Hook Promise overdose, let me know and we can begin planning the next one. Until then, take care and enjoy your family and wear the t-shirt proudly. One of your biggest fans, Patricia. And that was in regards to the training he just talked about. What he didn't say is Captain Springer was implemental in getting this training here to Stark County with Sandy Hook Promise. He really got it here for everyone, but again, he is very humble and wouldn't have said that in front of the board, and he really is the reason that they came, so. And that's the end of communication.
I think we've got one that we actually missed.
Oh, did I miss one?
Actual number 3.
Oh, there is an actual number 3, okay. I jumped around. This is very important, and we did put this out on all of our social media, our website. This is the open house public meeting in regards to Interstate Route 77, US 62, and State Route 687, which is Fulton Road, the Transportation Improvement Project. ODOT is holding an open house public meeting on Thursday, July 6th, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Lehman Middle School, which is at 1400 Broad Avenue Northwest, Canton, Ohio. And the purpose is to have public involvement in the meeting and to present information, and they want public comment on the proposed improvements at the Interstate Route 77, US Route 62, and Fulton Road interchange, and improvements on Fulton Road between Clearview Avenue and the I-77 northbound exit, US Route 62 eastbound entrance ramp. And then they list some of the improvements. Do you want me to read those improvements? I know that our team of department heads will all be present at this meeting, as will our board as there, and I'll let you guys talk about that, but we will all be there. They're asking, you can also submit written comments if you can't make it to the open house. It's an open house style public involvement meeting. They'll have exhibits of the proposed improvements, and I know that our whole team will be there. And we put it out to the public also, really encouraging them to come.
Well, I was gonna say, I know we had Sergeant Hall was tortured or blessed to be part of that. We had Tom, we had Joe, we had Chuck, and myself that met with ODOT District 4. There was some other Kansas City representatives that were there. I don't think I'm over-exaggerating when I say they're really looking for our blessing on some of this, giving the effect on the area, especially given some other things in the works with the city eventually. So, as we've indicated in separate conversations, we need to be collectively pulling together our risk assessment points so we can go there and have a uniform, consistent point that we drill home to these guys.
And, I mean, obviously, like the last input we had, you know, we gave them a pretty detailed synopsis of what we thought was good and bad.
And it
And
causes distraction.
surprisingly, we took almost every one of our suggestions and turned it into a brand new plan. So,
Okay. There's nothing else under communications?
Now,
Okay, brings us to public speaks. Anybody in the audience who wishes to address the Board of Trustees? Any issues? Okay, nothing. That'll take us to concerns of trustees. Mr. President, are you thinking? Mr. Sabo? I've got just a couple more informational things. I know we've each gotten, but for the sake of the public, the Historical Society is doing a picnic. I think this is a big deal for them. It's going to be July 27th, 5 to 8 at Veterans Park. It's a covered dish. They're going to provide the cuts and the utensils and the plates. It's free outside of bringing the covered dish, so they want to consider showing up over there, given all the Historical Society does to help us preserve what we've got here in the township. Not this weekend, but the weekend of June 24th. One of the groups that we've partnered with the last couple of years, the CM Center, Serving Area Military, they're doing a fundraiser over in East Canton at the Folks Community Center. 100% of the proceeds from that are going to go to help fund a November stand down that's going to be at the Civic Center. So just as a heads up, another good thing there.
and anybody who wants to go, Scott is very involved with that and can point you in the direction of tickets.
SCOG update. I was being the executive committee member from the township that I think I had told you guys, we took advantage, we've re-upped the SCOG on the natural gas aggregation, but there was some different things. Just countywide dispatch update, they said they're working still on the CGIS interface. It was literally limited to that. With respect to the county radio system update that Major Anderson provided, he did indicate that they're finalizing contracts with Motorola right now, and then it will be actually with Marks, and then there's an agreement with the owner of Bliss Tower in downtown Canton for one of the cell sites. From our group discussion, you know, there was talk of the Red Center, Starcom, CanCom. There's been, and Chief, you can really attest this probably more than anybody as well as Chuck. They're really potentially looking at driving this down to 2 PSAPs. One, you know, essentially acting as backup to the other. It's very preliminary, so to say it's going to happen. There's a committee that's going to be, the P25 committee is going to be meeting and evaluating the viability of this, but looking at it becoming just the Red Center and Starcom, because CanCom has issues with the facility they're in, and I think, John, you could probably speak better to, you know, the feuds in the past of it. they're gonna be my employees, or no, they're gonna be my employees. From a high-level aspect, those centers, you know, from a leadership aspect, are saying they really don't care. You know, they know what's in the best interest, so we're seeing significant progress on that front. With respect to the crime lab backlog report, there's absolutely no backlog in their chemistry. They've got about 234 cases of firearms. There's some reasons for that. I won't dwell often bore you with them. I'll be happy to tell you on the side. We renewed a two-year renewal of the memorandum of understanding between the crime lab and BCI for maintenance of the crime lab's local DNA index system. We renewed the memorandum of agreement between the city of Canton and SCOG to allow the crime lab vehicles to fuel the city's pumps located at the water reclamation. As well, we renewed for the Stark County SWAT Cooperative Tactical Medical Program, $22,852 expense, and that was something that SCOG had already budgeted for. Last year was the first year, and it can come in real handy. The professional that's coming in is adding significant value. We did discuss some bylaw changes that will be addressed at our next meeting, and essentially it has to do just with this whole onset of the centralized dispatch and the P25 communications committee. There's just some simple language changes, nothing from a huge operational or technical aspect. And then lastly, we got approval by the auditor state to do another agreed upon procedure, which essentially simplifies the process. What was done last time is what's going to be done this time. So next go around, because we've done two these agreed upon procedures in a row, we'll have to go to regular audit next time. But that was the SCOG update. I just wanted to pass that along to you guys. I gave Lisa the form on the natural gas aggregation, and we've since got that taken care of. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. That was the only thing I had, John.
No, I think we're seeing, you know, as far as radio updates and all that movement, I know I've had casual conversations with all of you regarding what I'm seeing take place compared to what that movement was before with, you know, trying to move dispatch centers so that we consolidate, get us on the right radio system, collaboratives. And I am seeing more cooperation now, just immediately, first of all, after that sales tax was pushed ahead, knowing that they were going to move forward. We got a letter from Sheriff Meyer. And, you know, that letter very clearly said, here's what we want to do, we want your input, here's what our plan is. And when I read that letter, I'm like, this thing is moving way better than what it ever did before. So if we continue to move in this direction, I think you're going to see a lot more people come on board, because there's going to be what I believe to be coming out of it. In my experience, I believe you're going to see a lot more trust and some more collaboration. So I know I've had some discussions with you guys, but I appreciate the sheriff moving that direction, because this is a big project. And I think we are now going about it the right way, bringing so many more people on board with their input and their involvement. So, you know, things continue to move in this direction. I am really optimistic about how this will go.
Anything else, gentlemen? Okay, concerns of the fiscal officer, Mr. Wolf?
No concerns.
Okay, it'll take us to the approval of the minutes, the first for May 23rd, 2017, and I will so move.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes. Second is approval of minutes for the June 7th, 2017 special meeting, and I will so move.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes. We do have a need for executive session, so be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to adjourn to executive session at 6:39
PM from this regular meeting is authorized under Ohio Revised Code 121.22G for the purpose and consideration of 7, to consider confidential information related to marketing plans, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance or to negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance, provided that both of the following conditions apply, 7A and 7B.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.